Hey, what up? What up? It's your boy Derek in the city, and you know what it is, man. We back with another video, and you know it's Thanksgiving weekend, so we giving thanks, and I just want to give thanks to all you guys for supporting my channel. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing everybody liking the content. You know what I'm saying? Showing me love. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this past week, I dropped some content on my boys, my homeboys, 8Ball and MJG. You know, they recently did an interview on Drink Champs. And you know, I shared a video of my history with them cats back in the days when they was in Memphis at this label called OTS. And a lot of people didn't know I had history with them. And I shared it. And you know what I'm saying? You know, that sparked a lot of questions because people wanted to know, how did I know them? You know what I'm saying? You know, although I live in the Chicagoland area, but I'm originally from down south. So people start asking me, how did I end up in Chicago? So today I'm gonna answer that question. And you know, people been asking me, how did I get into media as well? So back in the days in the 90s, my uncle Fred, he owned a mom and pop record store right here in the city of Chicago on the west side. And during this time, I was trying to get into the music game, so I ended up in Chicago. I had wanted to learn the game through my Uncle Fred, and I started getting in contact with all the other mom and pop retailers like Pep Mode, Miss Nellie's. You had Eddie over there at Max. You had George Daniels, had George Music Room. You had Barney's, which was a one-stop. You had Fletcher's, which was a one-stop on the south side of the city. So I'm building my relationships with all these stores, and I'm learning the game. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward to the 2000s, during the MySpace era, I get a phone call one day from my homeboy, Sam Master T, you know, a Chicago legend. He told me that him and his artist, Jarista, had this new song out called Face Down. And he said, man, you know all the mom and pop stores, you know what I'm saying? You got the relationships with the stores. He said, man, I'm gonna need you to help me get this song out there. He said, but for now, he said, man, we need to service the DJs. And I think at that time, the only DJ he gave a song to was this guy by the name of Bulu Master. He was working at this radio station called Power 92, and he was blowing it up. So that made all the rest of the DJs in the city wanted to get their hands on the song. So I said, I said, look, burn some copies of that song on CD. I said, man, we gonna go to these DJs personally, and we gonna service them up front. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go to the clubs and hit them up while they in the clubs on a certain nights. You know what I'm saying? So, man, we would go to this club called The Buzz, which was jumping downtown Chicago on Tuesdays. We would go to Club Wet. We would go to this club in the south suburbs called Bi-Level. We would go to the suburbs to Schaumburg, man. You know, they had this club out there called Dakotas. I mean, we was going everywhere, even all the little hole in the walls in the hood, like on the south side of Chicago. It was this little place called Rodney's. They was jumping on Thursday nights. And I remember we went through that one night, and T gave the DJ the song. He said, man, you know, why we got the crowd in here? They looking at y'all, man. Why don't y'all perform? And, you know, T and Jarista performed the song on the spot, man. They going crazy, man. They turning the spot up, you know what I'm saying? So we started doing that more and more. Every time, you know, we ended up going to a different spot. So eventually, T and Jarista is building a relationship up with these stations like Power 92 and WGCI. And at the same time, they ended up bringing out, they droped out album, you know what I'm saying? You know, we ended up servicing the stores that was looking for it. And at the same time, they building a relationship up with another radio station called B96, which was a crossover station because the demographic over there was mostly white suburban kids and Hispanics. You know, blacks listened to the station, but it was mostly whites and Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? And how they built that relationship up, it was these two white guys by the name of C Money and this white DJ by the name of Dan Morrell. You know what I'm saying? They helped T and Jarista build that relationship up with B96. And you know what I'm saying? They ended up getting in tune with this cat named Eric Bradley, which is one of the biggest names in the business. You know what I'm saying? And once they built that relationship up with him, he ended up putting them on this summer concert series called Summer Bash, which is one of the biggest events that was going on during that time, during the summertime. And B96 was a part of that situation. And you know, at the time, I think Sierra was on that show, Neo was on that show, T-Pain was on that show. I mean, he was so hot at the time. Akon was on that show, and Rihanna was on that show as well. And T and Jarista ended up opening up that show. You know what I'm saying? So while we sitting up there performing, and T and them got off the stage, all the little white kids wanted to get their pictures and autographs, and I noticed we didn't have no cameraman, and that's when a light went off in my head. I was like, man, we dropped the ball, but I said, man, you know, we can never allow that situation to happen again. So I ended up going out buying myself a camera, you know what I'm saying? So I said, man, the next time we have big events like this and special moments, I said, man, I'm going to make sure I document it. And that's when they ended up building that relationship with GCI, because they ended up having this car and bike show with Plies. And you know, Plies was the hottest thing cooking at that time. And T and Jarista opened up that show, and I documented that whole thing. And you know what I'm saying? That's when I started falling in love with documentation. And eventually I ended up getting myself back in school at the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, which is now the Illinois Media School. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I ended up getting an internship with WGCI. Now, all while I'm doing this, Chief Keef and that whole OTF and all these different little rappers like Chance the Rapper, all of them is blowing up during that time when I got this internship and I started collecting all this content. And at the same time, I'm building my relationship at GCI, because that platform allowed me to show my skills, you know what I'm saying, and it allowed me to build all these relationships. And also I got to learn the game from the corporate side, you know what I'm saying? So I started this little blog called Derek in the City, you know what I'm saying? And it was really about me capturing content in the city, showing people what was going on in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, a lot of the people that was working at GCI started leaving and started branching out into other markets, like my girl Demi Lobo. She ended up moving to LA, and you know what I'm saying, since I had the relationship with her, you know what I'm saying, she hit me up and she said one day, man, she needed somebody to document her because she was going to do the BET Awards. So I ended up going out to LA, and I ended up doing Demi's documentation, which later led me to doing her documentation at the Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards. And I just kept doing that, you know what I'm saying, building my name, building my reputation, people knowing me for doing this, knowing me for doing that. And, you know, and for a minute, you know, I got some opportunities on the table, but eventually, man, I didn't end up taking them because I thought some other things was going to end up happening, but it didn't. But, you know, I ended up taking a break from media for a minute, but now I'm back. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of plans coming up. I'm thinking about doing a podcast right now. Like I said, I'm just dropping content on YouTube. I see you guys liking the content. I'm dropping content on social media. You can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything. Derek in the City, you know what I'm saying? And all my content is on YouTube. But like I said, man, I just want to thank all you guys for checking me out. I got some more stuff coming up. And man, I just can't wait to let you guys see what I got going on. But yeah, that's it for me. I just want to show some love to you guys for supporting me. But until next time, it's your boy Derek in the City saying peace.